to an introduction video of the LINCS Self-Assessment and Asset Map Tools, presented by the Virginia Adult Learning Resource Center. This video will give you an overview of these tools and how they can help guide your regional professional development plans. Please take a moment and make sure you have these tools in hand as you view the video. They can be found on the links below. The LINCS Professional Development Center created the new State Leadership, Self-Assessment, and Asset Map Tools to help states develop and improve their professional development programs, and to gauge priorities and implementation readiness. Although these tools were created for state leadership, the focus for Virginia is on regional leadership.
Steps of a strategic plan. Let's quickly discuss the role strategic planning plays in these LINCS self-assessment asset planning tools. It is a vital one. The steps are familiar to those who have participated on strategic planning teams before. They are: 1. Prepare the team and determine where you are. Conduct an internal and external analysis, SWOT activity, which you can find on the site. 2. Clarify the mission and vision statements. Do they describe what you do? Do they need changing? Agree on top priorities and 2 or 3 goals. Decide if they are long-term or short-term goals. Identify the steps you should take to achieve your goals. Put the plan together, distribute tasks, and assign actions. Decide on who will be in charge of tasks. Hold everyone accountable. Let me repeat. Hold everyone accountable. Update information and communicate regularly with the team.
The LINCS Professional Development Center developed a state leadership self-assessment tool that will help states, and in Virginia's case, regions, gauge their priorities and implementation readiness for meeting the state leadership activity requirements in Section 223 of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. The 2 tools are sets of checklists that will help regions identify the resources, partnerships, and activities that they are currently engaging in or need to strengthen to be in compliance with WIOA Section 223. These tools inform one another and can help regions develop a professional development plan. Before we go into the actual tools, we need to quickly review the regulations that led to the development of this process. 3 items in particular in the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, Section 223, drive the strategic planning process. First, WIOA requires the establishment or the operation of high-quality professional development programs to improve instruction. Secondly, it requires the provision of technical assistance to eligible providers of adult education and literacy activities. And thirdly, it requires the monitoring and evaluation of the quality of and the improvement in adult education and literacy activities, as well as the dissemination of information about models and proven or promising practices within the state, or in the case of Virginia, within regions.
The LINCS tools help states. In Virginia, we are working in regions to examine PD programs, identify the presence and extent of PD components, assess potential gaps, determine next steps and priorities, track compliance with required state leadership activities, and progress toward identified goals. The LINCS tools also help regional teams to develop plans to address identified gaps, identify resources and actions that need to be taken to reach the goal of establishing high-quality professional development programs.
The LINCS self-assessment tool was informed by a review of the existing literature on state PD programs and systems, knowledge gleaned from the 2014-2015 National Reporting System narratives, as well as interviews with state leaders from 9 diverse states on their existing PD programs. States were asked and selected to represent each region and a variety of governance systems, demographics like urban and rural or different kinds of learner populations or different geographic sizes, as well as numbers and types of student enrollment and the number and status of teachers, for example, full-time, part-time, or volunteers. So the literature that went into the development of this represents a wide variety of adult education contexts. The key findings of this research identified foundational components that provide the structural supports for effective PD systems. And they also identified key features of high-quality PD that should guide the design and implementation of PD activities. States need to address both the PD components and features as they are establishing or operating a PD program, regions in this case, in Virginia. The self-assessment tool provides regions an opportunity to identify what is in place and to what degree, and also to identify gaps and determine priorities for the next steps within the state context. So on this slide we have the foundational components of teacher PD systems. They are collaborative, data-driven planning and evaluation processes that support continuous improvement. They include systems to manage PD communication, coordination, and dissemination, and they include support and resources to ensure access to PD opportunities for all educators. Now, features of a high-quality PD activity include intensive, ongoing, and connected to practice, or job-embedded. They also focus on specific academic and programmatic content. They build knowledge and peer relationships through collaborative learning, and they are differentiated to address the varied needs of practitioners with clear feedback on performance and progress in serving students.
The purpose of this tool is intended to support regions in tracking their progress toward meeting their state, regional, leadership activity requirements set forth in WIOA Section 223. There are two parts. Part 1, State Leadership Activities. This is a checklist focuses on specific state leadership activity requirements set forth in WIOA Section 223. Part 2, Quality of Professional Development. This checklist ensures that the PD program aligns with current research and best practices in PD and adult education. Part 1 of the self-assessment tool focuses on required WIOA leadership activities. For this sections, regions should work with key partners such as community colleges, local nonprofits, WIOA partners. Part 2 of the self-assessment tool focuses on high-quality professional development. Individuals that will help ensure that there are policies and guidelines to support the PD program should be identified. These include regional program managers, regional program specialists, local program managers, lead instructors, data manager, outreach personnel, and assessment personnel. Please keep in mind that each region will vary with who their regional teams and partners are.
This asset map is intended to help state teams or regional teams organize and plan how they will implement and document items and descriptors identified in the state leadership self-assessment. The two tools are intended to inform one another. The self-assessment will yield information to assist regional teams in identifying where gaps exist in terms of the items and descriptors they are assessing. Using this information, teams will create a goal to guide work on filling an identified gap. The asset map provides a process for teams to think through existing and needed resources and partnerships, as well as key milestones and actions toward achieving the goal. Once implementation and documentation is achieved, regional teams can update the self-assessment tool to track progress. Use the asset map template for each item you'd like to explore further based on your completion of the self-assessment. Select an item or descriptor from the self-assessment and create a goal that describes what full implementation of that item would look like. The tool is designed to focus on one goal at a time. There are 3 parts to the asset map tool. Use part 1, resource identification, to analyze your assets and needs for resources in the adult education system and with your partner agencies. This baseline information will help guide parts 2 and 3. Use part 2, milestones, to lay out the key steps that need to occur to reach the goal. And then use part 3, action plan, to map out the actions that need to be taken in order to reach each identified milestone.
Going forward, continuous program improvement is an ongoing process that is developed over time and revisited often. After creating your initial goals and plans, you will be asked to revisit the plan regularly to determine if goals and objectives are being met and adjust them according to your most recent data. This means deciding on dates, whether weekly, monthly, bi-monthly. We advise you not to wait until the end of the fiscal year when it is too late to make adjustments that matter. Decide on the team that will study the data. 2 to 3 individuals is usually enough, but you might want to bring in an expert to help you devise a new strategy for achieving a particularly thorny goal. Consult with the DOE or the Resource Center to make sure you are on the right track. The following year, we suggest that you begin the process of self-assessment and asset mapping again. Start as soon as you have the previous year's data available. We encourage you to make this collaborative planning process an automatic part of program governance.
For more information, contact Katie Bradisax, Kate Rolander, and Vic Sanborn. Additional resources can be found under the Program Leadership section of the VALRC website. Please go to www.valrc.org. Thank you.